The AI boom is creating a lot of new wealth in Silicon Valley, and some of that money is now pouring into the housing market. A South Bay real estate firm says their home sales this summer topped $240 million. That's more than double the amount of the same period last year, with several home sales going for more than $1 million above the asking price. So what does this mean for the broader housing market in the Bay Area in general? And will this trend continue? To answer some of those questions, we want to welcome Ken DeLeon from DeLeon Realty. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thank you, Allie. My pleasure to be here.
Of course. At what point this year did you start to realize this AI money, tech money, is really flooding into the housing market and changing things there?
No, this year's really picked up where around March, April, you felt the tempo of the excitement of the coming IPOs. And one thing that's different about this market versus the .com is now there's a lot of secondary share sales. So you can be at OpenAI and actually still sell your shares early. So you're actually seeing a lot of money already out there. But then this summer, the pulse really picked up. Some homes, one of our listings, jumping over 3 million. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because a lot of these AI companies haven't even gone public yet. So there's a question of where is all this extra money coming from? There's an ability for people who work at those companies to trade their shares even before they IPO, kind of on a private market. And is that where all this extra money is coming from?
No, you're seeing more wealth than ever before, but it's coming from two areas. So you definitely have those with the startups. Their stock's actually very liquid, both OpenAI, Anthropic, but even Stripe and others, really strong secondary shares. But I think what's getting is not as much press, but a huge impact on the housing market would be the AI adjacent industries, mainly semiconductors and Google to a degree. But those companies have gone up, just in the last 2025, the top 10 market cap companies, over 7 trillion growth within Silicon Valley. And with restricted stock units, a lot of that's going into the housing market.
Well, for most people, a $5, $10, $20 million home is not part of their reality. Why should they care about what's happening to this high-end housing market? How does it affect the average home buyer here?
I think overall AI will be great for a lot of homeowners within Silicon Valley, where right now you are seeing the luxury market be the first to appreciate. But I think the trends are quite broad, where just, again, Silicon Valley is the epicenter of the world. We're the epicenter of the world's innovation. Over 80% of America's venture capital funding the first quarter went just to the Bay Area. So we're doing so well. So I think you're going to see an appreciation of pretty much all single-family homes is my anticipation starting next year, where the luxury market's very strong, but it'll keep on going down in price point as more liquidity gets in the market.
But that makes it more challenging. It's good for people who already own homes. The value of their home is going up. But for people who are trying to buy a home, that makes it more out of reach than ever, right? Because the prices are just going up.
The interesting part is not all homes are benefiting equally. So there's opportunities for strategic home buyers. So if I was not an AI and wanted to get the best value out there, I would try to look at AI buyers. They're doing so well financially, but they're so time constrained, they really want the remodeled home. So homes that need a little bit of work are selling at the biggest discount I've ever seen. So I try and direct my clients to those ones, help them with the construction and add a lot of value. But I think you do want to get creative. If you're not an AI buyer, then there's still great opportunities out there, but you have to be a bit flexible.
So if you don't have all cash to put down for a new home and buy it in all cash, maybe the next best thing is just to settle for a fixer-upper, or maybe look in a different area, kind of the same trends that we've seen in the past.
Exactly. And I wouldn't say settle, because you can make a lot of money through changing it to your goals. But I think being flexible, homeownership is amazing, and I think the appreciation looks really good going forward. So I think the flexibility is a wise thing to consider for buyers.
How does this period now compare to the housing boom that happened during the .com boom 25 years ago?
No, and I was there during the .com, and this actually feels very different in the sense of it's more sustainable and also more concentrated. .com tech centers were around America, but it's amazing how concentrated this is just in the Bay Area. And one crucial distinction, housing supply of single-family homes of new listings is actually down over 50% since .com. It's amazing that even though prices are up, there's so many reasons not to sell. Capital gains, losing your Prop 13.
Right, people aren't moving out of their homes.
People aren't moving out of their homes, so you have the spike in demand, but with
less
supply
inventory.
at under half what it was.
Right,
and that trend will continue unless we allow.
I feel like that's been the trend in Bay Area real estate for like half a century or more.
Oh, no, exactly. Yeah. And every time taxes...
Not enough supply.
Not enough supply, and I think that, hopefully maybe we'll get a little bit more liberal and capital gains exemption, then people will sell.
All right. Ken DeLeon with DeLeon Realty. Thank you so much for your insight this morning talking about what's happening in the housing market across the Bay Area.
Thank you, Allie. A true pleasure.
Okay.